Welcome back to TPS. There are quarterbacks like Peyton Manning, Staubach and Troy Aikman who shined at both the collegiate and NFL levels. There are guys like Tom Brady, Warner and Johnny Unitas who weren't bad in college but emerged as stars out of nowhere at the professional level. And then there are guys who were absolute studs at the collegiate level. They looked destined for greatness, but once these quarterbacks made it onto the NFL gridiron, everything fell apart. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. Number 14. Troy Smith. This dual-threat QB was an unstoppable machine during his time at Ohio State. Smith tossed 54 touchdowns and 13 interceptions to go along with 1,168 rushing yards and 14 rushing touchdowns. Smith cleaned up at the 2006 award ceremony, capturing the Heisman Trophy. That year, he had 2,542 passing yards and 30 touchdowns against just 6 interceptions, adding 204 rushing yards. He also won the Chick Harley, Walter Camp, Davey O'Brien, and Archie Griffin awards. Smith was also named the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. But NFL teams just knew Smith's style of play wouldn't work in the NFL. There was concern about his smaller frame and his ability to adapt at the pro level. Smith was drafted in the 5th round, 174th overall, by the Baltimore Ravens in 2007. Smith bounced around the league and only appeared in 20 games over a 4-year span for the Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. He finished with 5 career touchdowns and 4 interceptions. 13. Chris Weinke. Folks north of the border may best remember Chris as the guy who played for the Toronto Blue Jays minor league team. But of course, most of us remember him as the Florida State quarterback who won the 2000 Heisman Trophy. That year, he had 4,167 yards and 33 touchdowns against 11 interceptions. He was also named the ACC Player of the Year and the Offensive Player of the Year. Finally, he also won the Johnny Unitas and Davey O'Brien trophies in 2000. He was drafted in the 4th round by the Carolina Panthers in 2001, but he was unfortunately unable to translate that success over to the NFL. He posted a woeful 2-18 record and tossed 15 touchdowns against 26 picks. He last played for the 49ers in 2008 before retiring. He went on to coach at both the NFL and collegiate levels. Number 12. Andre Ware. The Houston product pieced together one of the greatest seasons ever in 1989, tossing 4,699 yards and 46 touchdowns against 15 interceptions. He won the Heisman and Davey O'Brien awards and was taken with the 7th overall pick by the Detroit Lions in 1990. But Ware was unable to beat out Rodney Peete and Eric Kramer on the depth chart, and they shared the workload during Ware's 4 seasons with the Lions. He made just 6 starts and appeared in only 14 games. Ware finished with 5 touchdowns against 8 interceptions. Ware moved to the CFL and was part of the Toronto Argonauts' 85th Grey Cup championship team. Number 11. Jim Druckenmiller. He spent 4 seasons at Virginia Tech and he was a starter for 2 of them. He compiled 31 touchdowns over those 2 years, and he led the Hokies to a 1995 Sugar Bowl victory over the Texas Longhorns. He was taken 26th overall by the San Francisco 49ers in 1997. The plan was for him to eventually take over for an aging Steve Young, the way the latter did for Joe Montana some years earlier. But Druckenmiller only saw 6 games of action over 2 years in San Fran, tossing 1 TD against 4 picks. The 49ers traded him to the Miami Dolphins due to salary cap constraints, but Druckenmiller was released in 2000 and never played another NFL game. He had brief stops in the AFL and XFL. Number 10. Akili Smith. The Oregon standout played 2 seasons of college football, and he had all the tools to be the next great thing in the NFL. Smith compiled 5,148 yards and 45 touchdowns over his 2 years in college. The Bengals drafted Smith 3rd overall in 1999, hoping he could help bring back their glory days from the 80s, where the team made it to a pair of Super Bowls. Smith then agreed to a $56 million contract with the Bengals. He put the work in and he managed to stay healthy, but Smith wasn't able to adapt to the NFL level, and he only received 17 starts over a 4-year span, posting a woeful 13-14 record. Smith had just 5 touchdowns against 13 interceptions, too. He tried out for Green Bay and Tampa Bay and had brief stints in NFL Europe and the CFL. But Smith wasn't able to find any football success whatsoever after his college career. Number 9. Mirer. He spent 4 seasons at Notre Dame and he led the Fighting Irish to a 1992 Sugar Bowl victory over the Florida Gators. He was then drafted 2nd overall by the Seattle Seahawks in 1993, but he completely flopped the professional level. He lasted 4 seasons in the NFL, and he only had 41 touchdowns against a whopping 56 interceptions. He also posted a lackluster 20-31 record during his time in the Pacific Northwest. Somehow, the Seahawks were able to obtain a first-round pick from the Chicago Bears for his services in 1997. He struggled in the Windy City as well and would bounce around the league for a while as a backup. Rick last played for the Oakland Raiders in 2003, and he finished with 50 touchdowns against 76 interceptions for his career. Number 8, Robert Griffin III. The former Baylor standout had one of the greatest college seasons ever in 2011. RG3 threw for 4,293 yards and 37 touchdowns, while adding 699 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns. He won the Heisman Trophy, along with the Davey O'Brien and Manning Awards in 2011. Griffin was drafted second overall by the Washington Redskins in 2012. He won the Offensive Rookie of the Year and led Washington to an NFC East Division title. Unfortunately, the Redskins made Griffin play while he was dealing with a serious knee injury. The team mismanaged Griffin time and time again, and he kept getting injured. RG3 lasted just 4 years in Washington, and he was only the starter for 3 of those seasons. He signed up with the Cleveland Browns in 2016 and wound up joining the Baltimore Ravens as a backup in 2018. Number 7, Vince Young. One of the most dominant and electrifying athletes in the history of college football, Vince Young seemed destined to be the next big thing in the NFL. On top of being an elite pocket passer, Young compiled a whopping 3,127 rushing yards and 37 rushing touchdowns in his 3 years with the Texas Longhorns. His shining moment came with the 2006 Rose Bowl, where Young scored the game-winning touchdown in the waning seconds against the top-ranked USC Trojans. Young was named the 2005 Heisman Trophy runner-up as well. Young was drafted 3rd overall by the Tennessee Titans in 2006, although he earned 2 Pro Bowl selections and won the 2006 Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Young's NFL career overall was a major disappointment. He only wound up spending 6 years in the league, 5 with Tennessee and 1 with Philadelphia. He tossed 46 touchdowns against 51 interceptions. Young tried out for various teams and even gave the CFL a chance, but all those efforts failed. Number 6, David Carr. The expansion Houston Texans franchise received the 1st overall pick in 2002. They used it on the Fresno State quarterback David Carr, who was coming off of a year in which he won the Johnny Unitas and Golden Arms Award. Unfortunately, Carr was never given much of a chance to succeed with the horrendous Texans franchise. He was sacked 76 times in his rookie year, which set an NFL record. He even recovered 12 of his own fumbles. Yes, it was that bad. Carr was out of Houston after 5 seasons. He spent 1 year in Carolina and moved on to the New York Giants. The good news is that Carr won a Super Bowl 46 ring as Eli Manning's backup, so his career wasn't all for naught. Number 5, Matt Leinart. The USC legend was a centerpiece of the Trojans' historic and dominant run in the 2000s. He won the Heisman Trophy in his junior 2004 season after throwing for 3,556 yards and 38 touchdowns against just 9 interceptions. He also won the Manning and Walter Camp Awards that same season. Matt and the Trojans won the 2004 BCS National Championship, though it was later vacated due to a giant scandal involving the school. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist in 2005 as well. The Cardinals drafted him 10th overall in 2006, but he saw limited time over his 4 years there, thanks to the strong play of Hall of Famer Kurt Warner. He had stops in Houston and Oakland, but he was done playing in the NFL by 2012. He was inducted into the College Hall of Fame, but his NFL career just didn't see the same success whatsoever. He finished with an 8-10 record and tossed 15 touchdowns against 21 interceptions. A series of injuries didn't help matters for him either. You have to feel sorry for the dude, as he never fully got the chance to succeed in the NFL. Number 4, Johnny Manziel. The media darling and Texas A&M star turned heads with his extremely athletic, dual-threat style of play, but half of the football world knew that Johnny Manziel was going to be a bust. Never mind that, he won the Heisman Trophy in 2012. Manziel had too many problems off the field, and though some called for him to be the top pick in the 2014 draft, NFL teams simply were too smart. Manziel wasn't taken until 22nd overall by the Cleveland Browns. Manziel only appeared in 2 games during his rookie year and 6 in his sophomore year. He didn't take his job seriously and was caught breaking several team rules. Manziel kept running into trouble with the law, including an incident in Dallas where he was arrested for domestic violence. Manziel was released by the Browns in 2016. He had a brief stop in the CFL, but was released by the Montreal Alouettes for skipping meetings. He joined the Memphis Express of the AAF, but the league ceased operations before its inaugural season could reach its conclusion. Number 3, Tim Couch. Couch spent 3 seasons at Kentucky, and his draft stock jumped up after a monster 1998 season. That year, he threw for 4,275 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist and took home the SEC Player of the Year award. The Cleveland Browns drafted Couch 1st overall in 1999. The same year, the NFL reactivated the organization after the original club relocated to Baltimore in 1996. Couch came into Cleveland with sky-high expectations, but it never worked out. Aside from taking Cleveland to the playoffs in 2002, Couch was a massive disappointment. He posted a QB record of 22-37 for his career, with 64 touchdowns against 67 interceptions. His final season in the NFL was in 2003. Certainly the Browns didn't expect they'd waste a top pick on a guy who'd only played 5 seasons. Number 2, JaMarcus Russell. In his 3 seasons at LSU, JaMarcus Russell compiled 6,625 yards and 52 touchdowns against 21 interceptions. He won the Manning Award in 2006 and was drafted first overall by the Oakland Raiders in 2001. But the 6'6", 265-pound Russell wasn't able to piece it all together at the NFL level. He held out due to a contract dispute until the start of the 2007 regular season, and head coach Griffin only gave Russell 4 starts in his rookie year. Russell struggled mightily in his sophomore year and won just 2 of 9 starts in 2009. The Raiders cut ties with him after the season, and reports came out that he was overweight and out of football shape. Russell attempted comebacks in 2013 and 16, but to no avail. He finished with 18 touchdowns against 23 interceptions over his 3-year career. And number 1, Ryan Leaf. Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf were considered equally talented, generational quarterbacks heading to the 1998 draft. Colts took Manning first overall, while the San Diego Chargers traded up via the Arizona Cardinals so they could take Leaf with the number 2 pick. Leaf was a star of Washington State. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist in 1997 and earned the Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year award. But Leaf wound up becoming the greatest bust in NFL history instead. Everything that could go wrong with Leaf indeed did go wrong. He skipped practices, put himself before the team, yelled at reporters, and apparently went to play golf instead of practicing while he was hurt. Leaf became a problem in the Chargers locker room too. A shoulder injury held Leaf back, and he finished with just 14 career touchdowns against 36 interceptions. Leaf last played for the Dallas Cowboys in 2001, and his NFL career ended as quickly as it started. Which other quarterbacks were great in college but big-time bust in the NFL? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you liked the video, then like the video, we'd really appreciate it. If you have any ideas for cool videos, let us know those too. And last but not least, don't forget to tune into TPS for more cool videos every single day.